Welcome to the Wellness and Beyond podcast, where we explore the challenges and opportunities facing the pharma and wellness industry today. Today, I'm joined by Lisa Kinsella, the founder and CEO of LUWI. LUWI is building a world where protection gives way to pleasure and where everyone has their own seatbelt. Great to have you on the show, Lisa. Thank you so much for being here. I am so excited to hear your journey.
Thanks, Elizabeth. I'm happy to be here.
I'd love for you to share a little bit about yourself and what inspired you to launch your business.
Absolutely. Several years ago, after surviving divorce and breast cancer at the same time, I needed a hormone-free contraception. When I Googled what my contraceptive options might be, I saw another issue: STI prevention. My Google search showed me that STI rates are at epidemic levels. And by the way, that STI math is stacked against women. Our bodies are more susceptible to them than men's. And that's really when it hit me. I didn't have just one problem to solve. I had two. Really, all women do. And the deeper I looked, the crazier it got. The options available today are the same ones my grandma had. And I really can't think of another category that is equally stagnant and without innovation in over 60 years. It's wild. And I think that was right when I recognized that this wasn't just a personal issue. This was a massive gap in the market. It's white space. It's a $50 billion market opportunity. There is nothing that truly serves women. And that lit the fire under me to start LUWI. So today, LUWI exists to enable women to have agency over their health and well-being, while also providing a hormone-free, contraceptive, and latex-free STI prevention solution that feels good. And timing is absolutely ideal.
Fascinating. What would you say thus far has been your biggest success or milestone?
We've had a lot of successes along this journey. I started in January of 23. We've got 3 people full-time on our team and several others that are fractional. And so we've done a tremendous amount. I think about all the wins that we've celebrated, the prototype wins, the proof of concept milestone, product market fit milestone, testing milestones. And I'm so very grateful to have such an amazing team and group of supporters that have helped us get where we are. I would have to say that the biggest success, the biggest win to date, the hardest one, is hitting our raise goal.
Yeah.
It's taken a while. And I think what I've seen is that when one is challenging the status quo in a large market that has been unchanged in 60 years, like we are doing, it's really hard. And I think this is because most people want things to stay the same. I think most people are wired to be opposed to change, to be skeptical of something new. And I think that's the case with most investors. They're looking to invest in consensus. They're looking for what others are already investing in, like AI, right? Most people are not investing in women's health in today's market. Maybe they never have been. And I hope that's changing. But even I look at, even the most important funder in the world of basic science, the NIH. And even for the NIH, women's health and STIs is 1.1% of their budget. And only 20% of that 1.1 is for contraceptive health. Like, wow, 170 million women and basis points, right? That's de minimis. So it feels absolutely awesome to have gotten where we are. And so I would say that this is the biggest win to date.
Absolutely huge. That is huge. Congratulations on that. And
Thank
what
you.
would you say is the biggest challenge that you faced thus far?
Well, the biggest challenge, I think, we're not yet pre-market. So we're pre-market, pre-clearance, and we're going through the regulatory process. So I actually think scaling will be really exciting and won't be anywhere near as challenging as what we've done to date, especially because we have so much pre-market demand. So until it's time to scale, I think that the biggest challenge today, I'll go back to your earlier question, was a raise. Now we're on the other side of that mountain for now anyway. People say you're never really done raising, but I can see that challenge to finding investors was largely due to alignment. Right? When you go through this process, you learn to pattern recognize, and it's such an incredible learning experience. And I've learned that most founders and investors see life very differently. Their risk tolerance is very different. And that difference can cause a lack of alignment, right? Many investors want to know every possible thing that could go wrong before they say yes. While founders, we live in the space of making it work. We're wired to solve problems, to figure out the next best steps when things don't go as planned. Tackling challenges is just part of the job, right? And it's invigorating, I would say, for most founders. I mean, it's fun, right? This is why we do this. Maybe it's
Exactly.
not always laugh out loud fun, right? But I mean, if you look at great companies, growth never comes from perfectly predicting what could go wrong. Growth and success and market making, that comes from navigating when things do go wrong. So I think when you can't prepare for everything. And so being able to execute in the face of that is what this is all about. And fortunately, we were able to find a community of investors who are aligned with this, who get that we're not just building and selling a product. We are all living in a once in a generation reset around women's agency and pleasure and reproductive freedom. And Louis building the must have brand at the heart of it. I think that's what makes this mission so important and so timely. I love this community of investors that we've attracted and built. They've said, yes, this is the future I'm in. So yeah, that's that's a great challenge that we have faced and overcome.
Exactly. And now you're going to prove it to them that it works and that it's going to be phenomenal for everyone.
Well, yeah, you know we are, Elizabeth.
Exactly. Do you want to talk a little bit about the product that you have already launched, the lube?
Yeah, absolutely. LUWI Lube is our first to market product, and it's a very natural lube. It is a silicone based, and it is without any of the chemicals that can cause damage to the mucosal lining. I think it is the lube that is included on the inside of LUWI. So when we go to market, our LUWI Finer Liner will have LUWI Lube in it. It's a really good product, and we're offering it today. You can get it on our website, getluwi.com. There's a promo code, Lisa20. And that is meant to provide brand awareness and help people know that LUWI is coming soon.
Okay, so what are the trends you're noticing now in the industry?
I think today there are an incredible amount of inflection points that are driving demand for LUWI. Just overall, we're all living this. There's this wave of women and younger generations that are prioritizing their health and calling out the old systems that just don't fit anymore. I'm raising two Gen Zs, and I think that I'm witnessing this. I mean, we're all a part of this, and it's pretty exciting. I do believe in June of 22 in the US, that Dobbs decision really accelerated this reckoning around women's agency. I think COVID may have accelerated this focus on natural and germ-free kind of thing, self-advocacy as well. And women are questioning their options. They're realizing that the choices they've been offered for decades were really never choices at all. I mean, the pill, the patch, the coil, it's all the same hormones, just in a different package. And in the words of Caroline Criado Perez, I love her. She says that's not a choice. That's the illusion of choice. That's just simply repackaging.
Mm.
So yeah, I think because people are more open with social media and on TikTok, and everyone's comparing notes, right? It's not behind closed doors, and people are sharing this information, and it's become obvious that no one is satisfied with the, condom on the banana high school sex ed experience anymore, right?
Exactly.
That's so last century. We need something better,
Yeah.
right? I think porn is a big educator, and that is a version of education that is very objectifying for women. It is sexually explicit in a way that desensitizes women and men to violence. And I think people are saying, hey, where's the counterbalance to that? And I'm excited to be moving into that position where we'll be able to educate on that. In addition to providing options on over the counter, we want to be able to have the education that goes along with it, because this pleasure gap is closing, right? It used to be that less than 2% of women owned a vibrator. And last year, that number was over 70%.
70.
70, right? Over 70% of women
Wow.
now own a vibrator, right?
Yeah.
That's a huge, that's a hockey stick of growth, right? I think we can thank founders and brands like, Alpine and Dame and Polly Rodriguez of Unbound Babes and Maud. They are bringing this option for pleasure out of this taboo, right? And making it very open. And I think that's where it needs to be, right? And what we're seeing that not just in the pleasure space, but in contraception and STI prevention as well. I think it's no secret also that women are driving 85% of the consumer spending. And I don't think women just buy products. I think we talk about it with our friends, right? We're building movement around these products. I recently listened to a podcast with the founder of Drunk Elephant, and my gosh, like that Sephora cannot keep those products on the shelf. I think Rhode Skincare is another one. That's Hailey Bieber's line that has $1 billion exit. It's Gen Z is demanding these health-focused products, and they're building movements around it. I think they distrust pink washing, as they well should. There's a large group that we all know are shunning hormonal and synthetic based products. They want clean. They want authentic. They want
Yes.
designed by women, right?
Correct.
And they want inclusive, self-advocating sexual wellness products. And that I think that demand, it's not just coming, it's already here, right?
Yeah. And also the whole hormone disruptor, like everybody knows about that and everybody wants to go clean because everybody's aware of it now. Whereas in the past, people weren't really. We're all educated now. We all know better, so we do better as women anyway.
Yeah, there's definitely more data, and it's not taboo to discuss anymore. I think about like my mom. Even my mom hid her pregnancy for a long time. Nobody does that. People are, this is what happens when you have sex. I'm having a baby, right? Like I'm pregnant. Not me, but it's not
Yeah.
it's not taboo or hidden anymore. And that's a
And
great thing.
yeah. So what you're saying is that this is not industry related. It's an industry-wide issue, or is it more unique to your business? I think what do you think?
I think is women's health in general.
General.
I think what we're seeing, as I said, I think COVID shepherded in this idea, this demand for self-advocacy, right? We all had to wear a mask. So we all had to think about ourselves, our health. And then we come right off the heels of that, and it's in the US, the Roe v. Wade reversal. And that really put a bright light on, women's agency and options. I think breast cancer has been something that has dominated health media for a while. And I think the connection, at least for me, from my understanding, the connection of progesterone to cellular duplication to increase the rates of breast cancer, that was real for me. And so that's why I have to stay away from hormonal-based contraception. I think STI rates are just off the charts, predominantly impacting women. Many today are antibiotic resistant, and that's new. I think women have more options today. They're not forced into a role of any kind, and so there's more time between menstruation and their first pregnancy, and so they have more need for prevention and for health. I think we're seeing also now the connection between STIs and fertility challenges.
Mm.
31% of fertility challenges are a result of STIs. And
Really? Is that
I mean,
news? Is that
yeah,
a new?
chlamydia. Yeah, chlamydia is what they call the tubal killer. Chlamydia is oftentimes asymptomatic and it causes scar tissue in the tubes. And that, prevents an egg from meeting the uterus, right? So I think often STIs they're sexist, right? They impact women more. And often they're asymptomatic. So we know more about this. We do more testing today. So it's easier. One of our launch partners is TBD Health. They enable you to get an STI test just at home. It just comes in the mail. It's very inexpensive and it's very easy and it's very reliable. Those are the kind of things that I think are helping women today say, but like, I want something for me. I want something to protect the mucosal lining. I mean, even what we see, it's not just the younger generations that are trying to prevent pregnancy, but we see that even peri, post-menopausal women that maybe don't always have a contraceptive need, or maybe not even an STI prevention need, but what they're looking for is something to protect and make things feel better. Right? They want LUWI as that second skin on the inside that feels good to their partner and also protects the mucosal lining from micro tears, from potential pain, and adds that lubrication without adding lubrication,
Yeah.
right?
So it
Because
would
the
be like
lubrication
for
is
your
inside LUWI.
menopausal. So that would be
Yeah.
for your menopausal ladies.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
That is clever. That is really clever. The other thing I wanted to ask you is, as far as systems and software go in your business, is there anything that you think could work better in your business? Is there anything that's eating up your time that you feel like you could do so much more if it wasn't eating up your time?
Well, I would say it would have been, if I could fix one thing, honestly, it would be to have found our community of investors 2 years earlier or a year earlier. We'd already be on the market leading this new category. But, what can you do? Timing is part of the journey. I've lived through this kind of shift before LUWI, when I was a young salesperson. I mean, I kind of still feel like I am that. I see myself
Gonna
as
say,
that.
but you are still young.
I think it was like early in my career, I was selling the first online ordering platform, and that was
Wow.
nascent.
When was that?
That was cutting edge. It was right before 2000, late 90s.
Uh,
And then later, after that success, I moved into selling software during the move from on-prem. Like, everybody had software on-prem, right? That's what you wanted. You wanted your software on-prem and on premises versus the cloud and SaaS. And so my job was to educate these potential customers ahead of mainstream acceptance, trying to get people to see the future before it arrived. That's what I've done in my career. And
I was just going to say, you're doing that now.
I am, exactly. So
You're
I've
doing
been
that
to this
now.
movie before, right? Those experiences taught me how to live in the future and educate others on what's missing. And so we're creating LUWI for the world that's already on its way, even if not everyone sees it yet.
Yeah.
So
What
that's
we're
why I
doing.
say it would be nice if we had found our investors earlier. It would have taken less money, right? There's a cost to raising, but I guess I could say the future we're building is right on schedule.
Exactly. You are where you're meant to be.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you had a magic wand and you could fix one thing today, if it's maybe making more money, systemizing, or would it be saving time? Which one would you choose? Which one would be top of your list?
I think early on, I recognized that, gosh, this is a tough one. I think I would say that it's going to be hard. So leverage as much knowledge, surround yourself with as many people as you can who know more. I mean, we did that from the beginning. It was a little bit harder because it took a while to get some momentum going. When you first start out, you're by yourself. and it takes a little bit of time. But once you get there, that is great. You've got, having more expertise around you and being smarter than you. We have a lot of engineers that have joined this, and I am so very grateful. In the beginning, that was, we had one, and now we have a team of engineers. And having those guys, mostly they are men actually, focus on what could go wrong for us in manufacturing and preempting that is really great. So if I had a magic wand, I'd have that team of engineers from day one.
So that would be like saving time, you would say.
Yeah, I think that would say, yes, saving time. That would
Yeah.
be. Doesn't
Yeah.
everything always take longer than you want? I don't know why that is. So
Always.
yeah.
Always. And that's the thing. We want things to happen yesterday, but it's all in divine timing, I believe, anyway. So
I
you're
agree. No, I
exactly where
agree
you're
with you.
meant to be. So, let's not rush it. It's obviously where you're meant to be. Is there
Yes.
anything that you
Yes.
would like to leave the audience with? Like, would you love to say something and something that you'd love the audience to know?
Well, I would say, I mean, it depends who I'm talking with. If I'm talking with other founders, I would share something that was said to me um, a long time ago. Rahm Emanuel was in this room. I was in this room. He was talking to founders. He's the former mayor of Chicago. I've lived in Chicago much of my life. I think he then became the ambassador to Japan. I don't know what he's doing now. But he said, you need to believe that what you're doing matters more than anything else, and you need to be tough enough to get it done. And that's exactly where we are. I mean, I would say that to a founder. A fellow founder. I would say, if you believe what you are doing matters more than anything else, and if you believe you are tough enough to get it done, keep going. Keep going. Don't stop. I know this raise market is hard, especially if you're in women's health, especially if you're in women's sexual health, especially if you're in Chicago, a conservative market, especially if you're a woman founder. I mean, let's face it, those are all really hard things. Um,
Like,
so just keep going. Just keep going. It's going to shift. I mean, maybe not, next quarter, but it's going to shift.
exactly. So, I think that's a wrap for today. Where can people reach you if they want to reach out to you?
Thanks, Elizabeth. www.getluwi.com is our website. Get is our social handles. hello@getluwi.com. We'd love for you to join our newsletter list and place an order for our lube. That would be awesome. Promo
That would be
code Lisa20. Yeah. And stay tuned. We're working through the regulatory process, and we should be on the market come Q3 26. So stay tuned.